So if we're ready for with our Jupyter notebook, let's pick up. For those that are using Colab, like I said, just search Colab, right? Or rather, just search Google Colab.
Then I can't match a brown.
Google Colab. Then the first link that we see here, just open it. Then we can log in with our emails, all right? Please, can we mute ourselves? Okay. So here we have Google Drive from GitHub, upload to get wherever we're going to get our data from, data from and the rest. Down here we can see new notebook. So we can click on new notebook. The first was welcome to Colab. So just read through Colab and how cool it is, you know. Then new notebook is all right. So it works more like Jupyter notebook. So if you are not going to be using Anaconda, so you can work with this online, right? So, but your data has to be on. So that's the only thing. But for Anaconda, you can run it locally, even if your data is not on. So let me switch back to Jupyter notebook and Anaconda. A moment, please. Or I could just then
Sorry, my own is not. It's taking longer time than expected. Just this.
sorry, is it your Anaconda?
Yes. For the past, let's say 15 minutes now.
Are you downloading with Windows?
Yes. Does it require mobile data to install?
Okay, it's still installing.
It's still installing. We just added another part now.
Okay. There's no problem. You can just quickly switch to using Colab while that is still running.
Okay, on the website, right?
Yes, exactly.
Okay, let me try that one and see whether it will work.
All right. So search Google Colab, then click on new notebook. It works the same way.
Colab.research.google.com.
Just go to your website, just click Google Colab. The first link that pops up, that is it.
Okay, let me try that.
All right. Okay, those that have their own installed, you can open your Anaconda now, whether from Ubuntu, whether from Linux, whether from Windows. So I'll be sharing my screen now. We'll start off with this package. So if we open our Anaconda, we should see something like this. So I can just scroll down and click on, since I'm using Jupyter Notebook here, I just click on launch. Open in our browser. Open in our browser. Then we can start off. So I'm just waiting for it to open. Just a few minutes.
Sorry, I have a question. Hello.
All right.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
So this Anaconda software, what what type of application is it or software? Because I'm saying it can be used for other stuffs other than
We'll
the
discuss
Jupyter notebook.
we'll discuss it as the class proceeds.
All right, no problem.
So my Jupyter notebook is opened, right? So all these are found on our home page in our system. So I'll just go to where I want to save my files. So before this, I can just open a location in my maybe documents or desktop. I can just name it anything so that I can just save my files there while running it, right? So I went to document my system and I went to machine. Then inside machine, I saved a file there, all right, which I'll be working with. So I want to open machine. I want to open then I want to open guys. Then I want to open my file here, which I've saved already. Okay, so we'll do now Python quick refresher um, on Google Colab. So if you open yours should be blank and empty. So up here it should be showing untitled, right? So here I can just give it a name. Is that okay? I can give it whatever name I want to save it. I can use Python refresher. I can use my own name to save it, all right? I just click enter, all right, and it saves give give my file a name, right? Now Jupyter notebook are saved in .ipyng. Okay, we'll discuss more about that later. Okay, so a quick view of Jupyter notebook. To add cells, these are our cells, or these rectangular boxes, our cells, right? To insert cells up, so try to move cells either up or down, right? To cut cells, right? To add cells, to save, right? Save and checkpoints, to run any cell we want to run, to stop running a cell, then markdown here is used basically to maybe want to do a neat presentation and stuff like that, right? Maybe you want to add some headings and to make it interactive and nice. I can also convert my Jupyter files to PDF, so I can like write. After writing my Jupyter files, I can write some comments in it. Then I can save it as PDF, right? Save it as PDF. I can share it. Persons can go through it, can read it. Okay. When I go to my files, I can see those options here. So I can make a copy of this file. I can rename it. I can download as. So you can see different file formats. I can download it as. After running my code, I can download it as PY. I can download it as PDF. Which is here. But default, it's saved with .ipynb file. All right. So let's see how we can do some Python operations in Jupyter Notebook. So first, I want to do some math operations. So if you can see my screen, you can walk along with me. In our previous class, we talked about the variables, right? We can assign anything to variables. Basically, we can assign numbers. We can assign strings to variables. Is that okay? So I said, let's num1. Num1 is not something that I have to cram. And see, data science is not like a course that you have to cram a lot of things. Do you get that? Now, if you don't remember some things, feel free to just go to Google and search it out. Maybe, how can I do multiplication in Python? I'll get my answer. So it's not compulsory to start cramming a lot of things, but just as you work with it, maybe daily, day-to-day business and stuff like that, you get to just know some things freestyle. So please don't form habit of maybe cramming codes, cramming lines, cramming how to do this. Whenever you're faced with a task, first thing that you should do, try to brainstorm, try to reason it out. Now, reason it out, try to write it in normal English. Okay, this is happening. Feel free to take a paper and biro and write. Like it must not just be code. You get. Those what they call pseudo code. So they are not code, pseudo code. No pseudo normally means false. Now just take a paper and biro. Just write. There's a problem. Okay, maybe they are asking you to list numbers, or rather just list I want you to list odd numbers, or I want to list even numbers. So no need to go and cram a lot of code to do that. So first of all, okay, what are even numbers? Okay, how can I arrange these operations now to give me even numbers? I can say, okay, if this equals even numbers, I can say whenever this is an even number, okay, now list out even numbers for me. Do you get? So I'm trying to like arrange it orderly and see, okay, how can I now fix this in my code for it to run? I don't know if that is clear. So don't cram codes. Our advice, don't cram code. It will make programming boring. It will make programming difficult. And don't be intimidated when you see a person doing on their system, and you are like, wow, is this happening? No, relax. Whenever you're faced with a problem, write it out. Write it in normal English. Okay, what are the steps that this problem should solve? What are the steps I will follow for me to get results from this problem? So feel free to always use Google, no matter what the problem is. Just go to Google freestyle, search it. Okay, I want to create maybe I want to create I want to create a game using Python. I want to create a basic game. I want to create a calculator using Python. Going to cram a lot of code. First of all, before you go to Google now, see how the order, see how it moves. Now, for you to do well in programming, don't go to Google first. Now, when the problem comes, you see the problem. You take paper and biro. You write out how you imagine these steps you follow, how you should get your answer, how you should get your result. Just like a normal day life. When you wake up in the morning, the first thing you do is not to enter your car and drive. So when you wake up in the morning, the first thing you process, okay, what will I do today? What do I have to do today? Right? then okay, I will brush, I will, have my bath, I will eat. Just the steps that you follow. That's exactly how programming should be. Programming should be like a normal life thing. All right. So no need to cram, no need to worry. First, relax, draft out. Now, after writing this thing out, and you don't know the code to actually code, you don't know the functions because it's a language. We're not born with the language. Just like when you came, you have to learn your own language from your parents. While they were speaking, you were learning it, right? So it's same thing. It's a language. So it's with time, gradually, you start learning, you start getting familiar with some terms. You guys start getting familiar with words. So same thing. You don't just come and start cramming this whole thing, start cramming everything. Okay, you get what I'm saying. So don't cram. After doing your studio code, after writing them out, the next thing that you should do, the next thing you can do now is, okay, I want to now search how I can use this code. Now you cannot go to Google. All right. Now you cannot go to Google and search keywords. I want to create a calculator. Then you are like, okay, I want to call my addition function. I want to add these numbers. I want to add 2 numbers. You get, if maybe you arrange your steps, like first of all, I want to do addition, then I'll do subtraction. Depends on how you arrange it. So call it like that. So back to here. I call the variable. I say, let me call it num1. I can give it any name at all. I can change it from num1. I can say, let me give it Zula. Now, whenever you are giving function name, you cannot use numbers to assign any function. All right, you can not use numbers, just letters. There are no spacings. If you want to space it, preferably you can use underscore, maybe Zula H. All right, that's an underscore, so that serves as my space. Is that okay? So let me Ctrl Z and take it back to how it was. So I say let num1 be 3 and let num2 be 4. Now I want to do 3 raised to power 4. So this function here, double asterisk, means raised to power. So I can comment that out. How do I comment in Python? Just hash. So I can say I can say asterisk means raised to power. Is that okay? So commenting it out, it means that if I run this code, that my my program will not consider this this program here that start with hash. All right. Now, if I want to comment the whole cell, this green color here is telling us that I am editing this code. Is that okay? It's marked green, telling me that okay, I am editing this code. That's what it means. If I leave that cell, okay, let me run this here. If I run this, you notice that this color will change. Now, okay, I've talked about commenting that out. So I want to run this here. I can just go up here and click on the run button, right? Or I can just do normal shortcut. So I'll just press Shift Enter. Do you see that now? Shift Enter, and my code is there. For those that are asking me how I got this heading here, after typing math operation here, I can just click on this place and I click on heading. Is that okay? Once I click on heading, it does not show as a code cell to run anymore. All right, let's proceed. Now, in Jupyter Notebook, it's not compulsory for me to call an invariable. So I can just do normal math operations. I can just say 3 plus 4, and Jupyter Notebook understands that, okay, I want to add these things together. Then it gives me answer. Compared to someone was talking about VS Code. Now in VS Code, if I save my files in Python, I cannot just come and write 3 plus 4, then it gives me answer. If you ask me if something is happening, you get. So that is why Jupyter Notebook is kind of nicer to run applications like. So I can just type it straight up and it gives me answer. So it's not compulsory. I just press print. All right. So I can just do 3.4. I get my answer. 5 minus 5. It understands that okay, I'm doing some math operations in Python. 7 times. Now this 1 asterisk is telling us multiplication. All right. So I can just comment there and say okay. I can just say okay. asterisk here means multiplication. All right, so I can run that cell. Remember, the shortcut to run my cell is shift enter. Shift and enter, just shift enter. Okay, so this is to divide. All right, this is to divide. Now, this double slash means floor division. Floor division. Okay. Now, somebody will be like, what is not floor division now? Okay, you want to, what is not floor division? See, 7 divides. Okay, let me use just one slash 7 divided by 4. Am I seeing decimal points here? Now, floor division, I don't want to return decimal point to me. Just give me just the whole number. I run that. I'm seeing just 1 here. So, all right. So that's what I can, that is floor division. Just let's make it easy for all of us. Now, this percentage function here means remainder. Remainder. So there I'm like, okay, 4 into 7. What is the remainder? So I'm telling Python, give me the remainder. If I run that, okay, it's going to remain 3. So 7 can divide, 4 can divide 7 just once and give me a remainder of 3. I've explained this double asterisk before, which means raised to power, right? So 2 raised to power 3 is 8, 9 raised to power 0.5 is 3.0. Now, int, all right, is a function in Python telling Python that this should be returned as a number. This should be returned as a number, not as a float. What is the difference between number and a float? A float is the one that are having decimal points. Simple and short. While this, I don't want decimal point. I'm telling Python, just give me the number. Now let me remove this int function around. Am I seeing a decimal point there? 3.0. Yeah. But when I call it back, I don't see that anymore. All right. So it's just going to give me 3. Is that okay? Normal math operations again. I'm putting them in just all your calculator can do for you, putting them in brackets. Maybe it's bracket first, God maths, those of us that did mathematics very well in school. So the first bracket telling me 3 plus 2 is 5. 4 minus 2 is 2. So this one in the middle is telling me multiplication. So 5 times 2 will give us 10. That is it. So I've explained to us how we can get our heading, right? So when you just click on a cell, I can just click on, type in this and click heading, and it enters. Assigning variables, that was I talked about in the beginning. All right. So I can assign variables. I can say, oh, Python, let a be equal to 5. Are you there? So let a be equal to 5. Now this cell saves it. So as I proceed, it's going to remember that I said that a should be equal to 5, right? Now, here I'm saying if a, since from the beginning I say a is equal to 5, now I'm calling on that operation now. I'm assigning on that new variable to a. I'm saying whenever a is equal to 5, add 5 on top for me. All right. So let me run this cell. So if I click on just a, in VS Code, I can't just click on a like this. I have to include my print function. But yeah, I can just put a, and Jupyter understand that, okay, I want it to tell me what a is. If I run that, I can see 10. So it's not remembering this a that was equal to 5 here. Now it's going to remember this new a. That's one thing in Jupyter notebook. So whenever we should be careful as we are assigning variables. If I call a variable before and later call it and give it on that function, now it will not remember what I called it before. Instead, it will remember the new thing I called it to be. Okay, so let's now see on that another variable assigning here. I said my underscore income. Remember, we said no spacing when assigning variables. The only thing you can do is to use underscores in case you want to space, right? I said my underscore income equal to 100. Then let my tax rate equals 0.5. So My taxes should be my income times my tax rate. I save this in this cell. So let me run that now. So now I want to know what my tax rate would be, that which is this, what my tax rate should be. So I just take the name, my tax rate. I put it in this cell. I put it in this cell and I run it. I get my results. So what I did before here was I said whenever my tax rate is this, so I can just change the value. Since one nice thing of assigning variables is I can go back to what I assigned and change the value. Now I want to make my income be 1,000. Then let my tax rate be 0.1. I run this cell. Then now I want to call my tax rate. All right, so I've gotten a new value. So I can just go and change just the number since I've already saved it in a variable. All right, same thing here. I want to get the area of the shape. Okay, I say I call the length, I call the breadth. So let the length be 18. Let the breadth be 7. Then area because length times breadth. So I will pause here and let me be sure that we have followed to this point. So if you have followed to this point, let me see you on the chat box. Then if you are having issues following us up, let me also see you responding. Those of you that are using Colab is also the same thing. So every of this code here, once you just exactly how it is, once you type it in your Colab, you click on run, it gives you the answer. That's how it works. So I'm waiting on the chat box. If you are fine and good, okay, following, that's nice. How does that also that's nice? Right?
Well, I've been following what you've been doing here, but repeating the same thing you are doing on Colab is very difficult for me. How you got to all those interface is very difficult for me. But I've been following all you've been saying, and I've been I understand everything. But how to like reach or get to that particular interface is what I'm finding difficult.
What interface is that? Sorry.
Okay, this particular Jupyter, this thing. Okay, this particular Jupyter greets AI. Okay, sorry, where you have localhost 888/notebook. I don't understand.
Okay.
How do I get there?
Okay, now you don't have to bother yourself with that local host name that is up there. But the local host is there telling me that I'm running it on my local system. I don't need internet. I don't need internet to work with this, to run this. Now you are using Colab. So Colab, you're going to be using internet because you're going to be using your data to run it. So local host will not appear there. It's your Colab name
Okay,
and the rest of
okay.
that.
I have my data on my laptop and everything. I mean, I'm on the Colab web page right now. So, but how to navigate? I'm only seeing filter notebooks, recent, welcome to Laboratory.
Didn't you see like somewhere they wrote, as you open Colab, you see where they wrote new notebook, you click on it, you're like almost at the down part of
Okay, is it file? Under file?
Yeah, just click on new notebook and
okay, I'm there already.
Opens
It's
like
opening
this.
another tab.
It just opens like exactly how this will open.
Okay, no problem. Let me see how it will go. It's loading already.
All right. In case he's not following, you can just assist him on the chat and help him with that.
Okay, I've gotten it.
All right.
Wow. Thank you.
All right, no problem. Okay, so let's proceed. So since you said you got them to this point, in case you are not following up at any point, please let us know in the chat box. You can just quickly type it up, type it in the chat box. So we can know those that are following and those that are having issues. There are persons on ground that can easily respond to you on the chat box in case you're having issues. So just drop it in the chat box so that you can see how we can work with that. So we stop at area, right? So I'm assigning a function again, a equals 4. So I'm saying that, okay, whenever a is equals 4 multiplied by 4, all right, now our answer will get keep on multiplying by 4, just like that. So multiply, I get 64. So Okay, now I'm assigning on that function. I say, okay, let a equals 1. Now what I want to do is that I want to get what this one is. Remember I talked about integer function before, which is int. So I'm like type. I'm telling Python, okay, tell me what type of function is this. So when I run that, Python will tell me, oh, okay, it's an integer. So let me do let me say 1.0. Let me see. Save this. Can you see that? So Python is telling me, Kita, it's float too. It's float. Okay. Iman, there are some issues on the chat. Please can you respond to that? Respond to that question. Okay, going back to the top from the beginning, what exactly do you not get? Because you don't have to worry yourself because this notebook will still share it to you guys. So you guys can have access to the notebook. But from wherever you are now, just start following from there. So the ones we've done before, just basic math operation, which will forward back to you and explain better. All right, so there's no issue about that. So just start from here so that we can be able to meet up. Is that okay, Rachel? So next, we're looking at strings in Python. String is in Python is like, okay, we want to save some normal English language. So I'm like, okay, print. How will I assign my string function? I cannot just write hello world. Once I write hello world, Python will ask me hello. I don't recognize hello world. That is normal English. Remember that I am not a human. So I'll tell Python, what you do for me, print hello world. How will I let Python know that I want to print hello world? I must always put in my columns. Now, see, if I remove this column, there will be an issue because hello world is not an inbuilt function in Python, or I did not save it. I did not save it. Maybe I did not save it as a variable. So I did not save it as a variable. So I will have issues with that. Now, see, invalid. So I must, if I want to run a string, like maybe normal English, I must make sure that my columns are there. So now my columns are there. I'm telling Python that now this is an English word. I want you to print out for me. So let me run this. Python says, okay, so this hello world. Now I can decide not to use a print function, but you cannot do this in VS Code. So that's one nice thing about Python. I can say, okay, I don't want to use this print function. I can just go to a cell and just put my columns within there. I'm not a girl, sorry. Let me put a boy. So run that. I am a boy, and it gives me answer. So we can try out other string operations. I tried also. I am coming. Now there's something special about number 32. Now see, there is a slash n function here. What this slash n function is doing for me is it's telling Python that take this to a new line. Let it not be on a straight line. So maybe I want the next thing to be on a new line, just like that. I can, okay, this is going to start from the second line over and start from the second line. Now I want to also take conversion to the second line. I can just say so we can try that out and it takes it to the next line for us. So if I run this, I can see this in the next line. I introduce a space here. I knew you discover that this guy moved a little, so I take it back. It starts on the same line. All right, so you see it's aligned to the other guy. So there are some functions that Python already understand. Some functions that inbuilt functions, call them inbuilt functions. You know, we talked about assigning a variable. Assigning a variable is different from inbuilt function. This is a function that Python already understands. For example, len, L-E-N. We are telling Python, we are asking Python to give us how many, to tell us how many, what will I call them now? How many outputs is present here? I'm asking Python for the length of this, all this that is here. I want to use the board again. So let's count. Let's know if something is wrong. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Is something wrong? Now, let me explain. The spaces in between is counted as well. All right. So living spaces and not living spaces, Python is going to be counting those spaces in between. Is that okay? Now let's check it again. If I don't leave spaces in between, I just bring them together and I run this. So it's going to give me 7. You can see that. But if I leave spaces in between, count those spaces along and tell me, okay, there are 10 things here. So the length of a boy, since there are more males in this call, let me use, so it's telling that 3 letters. All right, so those are strings in Python. So let's move to Python arrays. Python arrays. All right, and hey, very important. Python starts counting from 0. Python does not start counting from 1. Programming language itself, in general, starts counting from 0 and not 1. So more of this will be explained. We'll see this later in this course. All right, so let me call S. I say, okay, Python, save S as I am a boy. Save S as I am a boy. Yeah, save that for me. Now, look at the kind of brackets that is used here, square brackets. Now, square brackets is telling Python that you should return the index of whatever number that I put there. Return the index for me. So Python will go back to where I saved S to be I am a boy. And we start counting 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Remember that Python is counting those spaces in between as index, right? Now, if this is the 5th index here, if once I run this, it's going to return it. Now, if I want Python to give me the 7th index, I change the number there to 7. And I run this, it's going to give me B. So I'm telling Python, give me that value that is occupying this position, 7th position. All right. Now, next again, I assign S again to be equal to hello. I assign S to be equal to hello. Now, I'm asking Python to return an index -3. What Python is going to be doing is going to start counting from behind. Start counting from the back. All right, so give me the 3rd index from the back, not from the front now, from the back. All right, so like I have here, say negative index enables us count backwards, right? And whenever you're going to be working with large data sets, why this is important is sometimes you don't need, maybe you need data from the back, all right, and you don't need the ones from the front. You can just call the ones from the back and you get them. This is important, right? So again, I'm assigning the function A. I said A equals the boy is playing. The boy is playing. So I want to do some slicing. I want to do some slicing in Python. All right. Now, I open a square bracket, and I'm seeing 0 column -3 column 2. What is Python actually going to do? Now, see what Python is going to do. Python will start counting from 0. That is, so this first 0 I'm seeing here, I'm telling Python start counting from 0. All right. Start counting from 0. I'm giving it a step of 2. I'm giving it a step of how many now? 2. So, oh, sorry. I've not run this cell yet. So I said A equals this. So let me run that. Then I can call this. So I'm seeing TEBY space. Now this space is actually an integer, then LYN. Now let's see what Python did. Share this T here is 0, right? So this is 0, 1, 2. This is E, right? 1, this space now is 1, this B is 2, right? So this is B here, okay? This is 1, this is 2. This is Y, that's correct. 1, 2 again. So that is Y, that's up by Y, yeah. So 1, 2 again, that is I. Then 1, 2, that is this space that is here, right? So 1, 2, that is this Y, right? Then 1, 2, that is this N over here. Let's look at more slicing, okay? All right, hello world. This is similar to the slicing we did up here, right? So let me run this. Now, what is this going to do? What is this going to do? I did not put any value here at the front. I did not put any value here, but I put a value at the end, -1. Now I'm going to tell Python that these are our data. Start counting from behind. Start giving me all the data from the last digit down to the first. That's what this means. So if I run this, Python is going to start from D and start counting backwards till it gets to H. All right. Okay. Okay. There's a little test here, as you can see on my screen. All this will be re-explained in NumPy, please. This is just basic normal Python refresher. Like these are just normal Python things to understand. When we get to NumPy, which is on Friday, all this will be explained how they can use, how they can function. So a very quick assignment here. I want somebody to drop this answer for me in the chat box. There is an assignment here on the screen. If you can see, we said assign S to be equal to hello world. All right, now see the task I want you to do for me now. Do this for me. I need all the values between E and L, right? And I need you to stop at R. So I need all the values between E and L, then I need you to stop at R. Someone should drop that code for me on the chat box. All the values between E and L, stop at R. Now, remember, let me explain this. Remember that I put 0 here, telling me that Python should start from 0, right? Python should start from 0. This -1 here telling me that explains -1 before. Should stop at the last value. Stop at the last value before, that is before D, stop at L. Then 2 is telling me the step that Python should take. So start, stop, step. Start, stop, step. So now I want you to do that here for me. I want you to start, I want values between E and L. All right, and stop at R. Don't go beyond R. I need code on the chat box. While I wait for the code, I can continue. All right. So I want to be saving some arrays in a variable. I can assign A equals 1, 2, 3, 4. I explain index. I'm like, okay, Python return for me. Okay, no, I want to replace an index now. So I want to replace index 1. Now, in this place, which data is index 1? Is it 1, 2, 3, or 4? Somebody should drop the answer for me in the chat box. Which of these is index 1? Is it 1, 2, 3, or 4? Which of these is index 1? Is it 1, 2, 3, or 4? Nobody's replying. Excellent. Remember, we said that Python starts counting from 0, right? So 0, 1. So it means that I'm targeting these 2. I want to change these 2 from here. So I'm telling Python, look for index 1 for me, right? Replace index 1 with 10. And index 1, so let me quickly arrange this like this so that in case you are going through this, you understand that this here is 0, right? This here is 1, this here is 2, and this here is 3. So I'm looking for index 1. So index 1 is actually 2, was 2, right? So I'm telling Python now, remove that 2 from there, replace it by 10. Now, if I do this and I call A again, I notice that 2 is no longer here. Instead of 2 here before, now here is replaced by 10. So again, I can do this with letters. I can say if A equals hello, okay, I have to concatenate now, right? Or I can still do this with letter. If A equals hello, let me open on that cell below this. Now to open on that cell below is escape B, the shortcut for that, escape B. So I can say A, replace E there for me with something else. Now E is 0, 1. E is 1. So equals, replace it with do I see errors here? Now I cannot be calling integers with strings. So we talked about stuff like this. I cannot be calling integers with strings. They don't agree. It's except I'm telling Python that okay, this is a string and this is what now? Integer. We can see how this works with integers. So we should not make this kind of mistake in Python. All right. Now back to this. We see a lot of errors like that. Strings, integer. So if A equals hello and B equals world, I want to concatenate them together. I want to bring them together. So I'm like, okay, A plus B. If I don't understand, okay, this should be hello world. All right. Now I want to append in Python. There is little time left. So let's see. So I say, okay, let's A equals 1, 2, 3, 4. I want to append 9. So added to these data that were here before, I want to add 9 to them. So I'm telling Python, okay, append. So Python understands the word append. So if I say A equals this, A dot append 9, then I call A, run this, I can notice that outside 1, 2, 3, 4, there's 9 attached to it. Now I want to convert to upper terms in Python. Is simply A dot upper. So Python understand the word upper. Is that okay? Now creating list functions in Python. List functions, now I'm going to be using comma. All right, so I'm attaching both strings and letters together. There are no spacings here, right? So these are integers, right? These are strings, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4. So this whole string here is seen as one index, right? Because the comma is to separate them and the string function. So Python, okay, this should be a string. So I'm just bringing them together. And now this is a float. Now the first, this integer, this string, and this float, decimal point, remember. So if I save this here, I want to call index 3. Python should bring back index 3. Python will recognize that, oh, our index 3 is the letter or the word string. Can use any word there. So 0, 1, 2, 3. That's a string. Now we talked about arrays like this before, right? So our step here should be 2, right? So 1, 2. That's why this 2. Our step here is 2. So we're starting from 1, yeah. And we're going to stop. We're going to stop at the number which is 3.3. So minus 1. I'm stopping here. And this is the step. Remember, start, stop, step. So step is 2. So 1, 2, first there is 2. Again, 1, 2, the next is string. All right. Okay, so very quickly, let's look at matrix operation in Python. Now, before I continue, in the chat box, if you are following, let me know. And those that are having issues, please signify. I'm sorry if I'm in a bit of a rush, just so that we can sum up some things before it's time up. But regardless, I'm here to respond to any issues that you have. If you have issues, there are persons in the chat that are ready to respond to them. Okay. Are we following right? So we're going to be working with lots of matrix operation when we're dealing with numpys and the rest. So let's just look briefly on how this matrix works in Python. So I want to call a matrix operation. Now, see how I arrange my matrix operation. Now, before now, those of us that did mathematics, we know that matrices are arranged in rows and columns. In rows and columns, right? So I want to arrange a matrix operation. First, there is a square bracket outside. Now, for each row, I separate them with a their own square bracket and a comma at the end. Without this comma at the end, I'm going to have lots of errors in Python. So after arranging my first row, I close it, is open with a square bracket, close the square bracket, but the whole matrix should all be in a square bracket. I can see one here, and I can see the other here. So this open and close square bracket is housing my whole matrix function. So for the first row, I'm saying 1, 2, 3. A comma has closed that first row. Next is 4, 5, 6. A comma has closed it. Next is 7, 8, 9. I can put a comma. I can try not to put a comma since that is the last row for that matrix function. So I can save this. Go to the next line. Okay, now you remember we talked about Python starting from 0 and not 1. So I want Python to give me the value in the first row and second column. In the first row and second column. Now, in our own human thinking, on our own human talking, if we look at, okay, this will be the first row, right? We say that this is the first row and this is second column. So we are expecting a value of 2, but no, Python does not see it that way. Python sees it as this first row to be 0. Do you get? So Python is noticing that this first row is 0. The next row is our 1. Are you there now? So Python is seeing this second row that we are seeing as second row. Python is seeing as our first row. So it's 0, 1, 2. So in Python, this is the 0th row, this is the first row, and this is the second row. Our column, this is 0 column, first column, and this is the third column. So in Python, this will be this row and this column, which will return a value of 6. All right. So if I run this, Python is going to give me a value of 6 and telling me that, okay, for the first row and second column, my value there should be 6. So again, I want Python to return me the value for the second row and the first column. So if I run that, I will get an 8. Is that okay? So now, very quickly, I want to ask a question in the chat box. Somebody should tell Python to return me the second row and second column. Second row and second column. What data would that be, or what would be our answer? Second row and second column, what would be our answer? Excellent, 9. So come up with dictionary functions in Python. So our dictionary is housing lots of data. So I can see integer, I can see our arrays, I can see our string. All right. So almost similarly. And another thing is dictionary function have this curvy, what I call them curvy brackets, or a bracket that looks more like set functions. So I'm telling Python for this phase, if I save all this, I'm telling Python return me the index 0, which is going to be 23, right? Correct. So if I run this, it's going to give me an empty bracket as well. All right. So let's move on. It's either I'm going to tell now Python understand this to be a dictionary function, this curly bracket to be a dictionary function. If I'm not using that, I can use the function dict. So Python understand the function dict. I can say dict and put my normal curve brackets, and Python understand, oh, that is talking about dictionary. So I can either use this to represent dictionary, or I can just use the dict function to represent my dictionary. So moving on. Now, I don't want to call dict function. So I want to just use my string, my curvy set brackets. Let me to use that for this code. I'm sorry. So I assign a variable name underscore dict. Then this is my key. Benga is a key. So Python understand for a dictionary function, I can call in this is my value rather. I can call in my value and I assign them. Sorry, this is my key. I can assign my keys values. All right. How do I assign my keys values? This columns here help Python attach this to this value. So whenever I call Benga, I want to get what is inside Benga. Python understand that, oh, I'm talking about this lifted in Benga. All right. So I want to get this. If this is like the I would say the heading, from this heading, I want to get what's inside that heading. So when I call that heading, Python will give me what is inside the heading. So the Benga itself is going to be my key. So whatever is going to be following Benga is going to be my values. So this column here is telling Python to assign those values to this key, which I call to be Benga. All right. I called on that key again. Now, my next key now is tile. I use my semicolon to attach values to tile. Now, the value attached to tile is met joy. Right. So I already have it here. Benga equals our key and lifted equals our value. So I want to call what was inside. Now to call a function I explained before, I'm going to be using my square bracket. Now, if I call in Benga, Python understand, okay, I'm looking for the value that I was assigned to Benga. So Python responds that, oh, it's lifted. Now I want to assign more than one keys. So I can just break this down in step, and I'm going to be using my comma to separate each key and value. Comma is going to be to separate each key and value. Now my semicolon is attaching each value to its own key, which you can see here. So I can save this. I want to call value UNO, run that. Value UNO is assigned a key UNO is assigned a value of 1. So Python understands and return 1. Return 1 to me. All right, so this is similar to what we just did above, so that we don't take much time and see other things. So here I'm also assigning a dictionary function, but for this case, I'm assigning more than one value and key to a particular, more than one values to a particular key. Now the first key here, which was Akin Oluwabi. Inside Akin Oluwabi, I open another dictionary function. Now inside this dictionary function, I open another key, date of birth. Inside date of birth, I'm attaching a value, date of the birth, 4th of March, yeah. So 4th of April 1995. That is the key assigned to date of birth, sorry. Then comma. So comma, I'm attaching inside here still. I want to attach occupation. So to occupation, I'm attaching farmer. So I can space everything to look more neat and space them out like this to have a neat work. So I can run this. Now, I want to get from key Akin Oluwami, right? I want to look for the date, his date of birth. So I'll tell Python now, first of all, look for Akin Oluwami name for me. Now, inside his name, get his date of birth for me. All right, so Python quickly understands and brings his date of birth for me. So that is dictionary function in Python. Now, Boolean variables. Booleans are simply true or false. True or false, zeros and one. 0 is used to represent false. 1 is used to represent true. All right, so some other functions is for comparison in Python. It's already 6 already. Very sorry for taking too much time. This is telling us greater than or equal to. This is telling us not equal to. This is telling us greater than. All right, so we're basically using this for comparison. I think this is the last section for this. For comparison. Then we're also going to be attaching if, elif, and else function, basically for comparison. So I'm telling Python, okay, if x equals 4, all right, if like this, I was explaining this in pseudocode, it's just like normal English language. So if else s equals 4, whenever x is greater than 0, I put my colon. Do this for me. Python, return this for me. X is actually greater than 0. Python understands and does that for me. All right. Whenever I call the function and I later call in x equals 12, Python will not read this or see this except I call back that function. So I'm going to be wrapping up here. I'm going to be stopping here. I can explain this last part first, maybe stop. Now, I'm going to be using both our variables I've talked about before and using, like, try to combine things together. So I'm saying money for shawarma, it should be 25,000. Now, let the price of shawarma be cost 20,000. Now I'm telling Python, see, whenever price of shawarma, now I'm using double equals. It's telling whenever it's equal to this particular value, is that okay? Whenever price of shawarma is equal to 50,000 naira, and the money that is with me is less than or equal to 50,000 naira, tell me to buy shawarma. So I'm telling Python, okay, I can buy shawarma, right? Else, elif, that is else if, is that okay? Else, if my price of shawarma is less than or equal to 25,000 naira, and my money for shawarma is less than or equal to 50,000 naira, Python, don't allow me to buy shawarma. Or else, if there are other conditions, you are telling me to go and hustle. All right. So whenever I change this value, this can give me any of this response, any of these reports as my answer. Now, the input function is going to basically allow us to maybe type in anything we want to type in Python. So let me run this input function. So I can see that this code is still showing as asterisk, meaning I'm not done running this code. So I cannot go and run any other code. Until I put in something in this place, I can put anything. So input, I can put something. So I printed it out. Now the type of what I put here, Python is saying that this what I put in a string. Is that okay? So more for input functions. I can make it maybe beautiful. I can put column. I can put column here. So ask me maybe what my name is. Sorry. So what is my name? I'm just attaching a string to it. And until I reply, sorry, what is my age? Until I reply and press enter before it runs and move to the next one. So that is basically what our input function can do. So we can tell our input function to be maybe integers. All right, so I'm telling you, let's be integer. So whenever I put anything other than integer, it shows me error. So integer must be a number or something. All right. And that was finally it. Then last, what I did here, the almighty formula that we know, I tried to use Python to create almighty formula. Remember, our almighty formula was plus or minus b, no, x equals plus or minus b, right? Then I think square root of b square minus 4ac divided by 2a, right? So see how I did it in Python. Now this was for my plus. I cannot put plus and minus in the same place, so I take it for negative. I did it for addition. So this is my plus b, right? So this is my minus b, right? Plus. Now for square root in Python, see what I did. I did, you know, this raised to power, right? I'm telling Python everything inside this whole bracket is raised to power 1/2. So that's how I can use my square root in Python to get response for that. So it was nice having you guys. Yeah, it was nice having you guys. And sorry for extending the time by 4 minutes. And was sorry for that interruption that happened before. Very sorry. So before we wrap up for today, any question or anything that we have to talk about before we wrap up for this one? Thank you guys for being in.
Well, mine is not as though I have any question, but the rush was way too much. I was just trying to like get along. It was the first part that I understood properly, but the rest of them we are just rushing and rushing and rushing. Anyway, since you said or in the next class, or you said about number something, we learn it better there. No problem then.
Go through all these things again. It's just like showing us like things that we're going to be working with from day.
I understand. I understand it's a gradual process because now it's just like you're speaking French. I will get to understand it on the long
You don't
run.
mind me extending the time. Will you stay with us till say 9 or 8?
No problems.
So what we can do right now is that, and for this since we already have our notebook uploaded already, but what we can do is explain every code that was used here very well, then send them to our mails, so we can get them through our mails, can get them through the website. And since those of us that are in the group chat, we can always interact, and we can also send message to maybe the email address provided in the website or the number, and we can get immediate response. That right? All right. So things to note for our next class, we're going to be looking at our next class. We're going to be actually for the part that maybe it was kind of a bit of a rush. We're going to try as much as possible. So those that will come very early, we'll use some few minutes to explain some parts again that were not clear, right? For those of us that will come very early, what we can do is we can go through those parts that will not completely understood. Then in case you have errors running your code or running the slide that will be shared to you, you can also talk about it at the beginning of the class on Friday, same time. And from there, we start off how we can get data for data science, how to get data from the web, how to get data from the different formats. Also talking about NumPy. All right, so nice having you guys. Have a good day. Thank you and good night. Good morning and good evening from wherever you are joining from. Don't forget to follow the websites and Okay. How you can use your laptop? All right, maybe we're not with us from the beginning. Now it's either you're using a Windows or you're using an Ubuntu system. Now if you're using, you want to get the if you're using Windows and you want to get Anaconda, just go to your web browser, search Anaconda, and download for Windows. Search Anaconda. Search Anaconda and download for Windows, and install it. Then launch Jupyter Notebook. But if you don't want to download an Anaconda, maybe that may not space in your system. You can just go online and search Google Colab, and you will run everything as it is. So the files are going to send to you. You can just call them Google, import them in Google Colab, and run it. It will work fine. Then you can also open them in your Jupyter Notebook as well, and it will run fine. All right. So in case you're not clear on how you can install it, if you are in the group chat, please quickly drop this same thing in the group chat and we'll assist with that. Or you can just email, you can send email or send number to the web page and you get response on installing anything or package on your laptop or system to get you started, get you running. Martins, your hands are up. I don't know if you have questions. All right. No, welcome. Okay, your hands are down now. Okay. Do have a wonderful evening, wonderful morning, wonderful night, wherever you are doing.
All right. Thanks, Chief.
All right, thank you. And just in a
Thanks so much for the session.
all right, thank you very much. In a space of 2 to 3 hours, the videos, the materials will be present in the web page, and we'll get mails for the next class. So we can also get the links to everything through our mail. So you can still just go to the website, just click on the YouTube link, and you see the videos there. You can chat up in case you don't get your mails. You can just quickly chat up and get a response. If you don't get your mails or the materials, you can just quickly chat up and you get them sent to your mail. All right. Have a wonderful evening. Once again.